The Renault Captur, a plug-in hybrid. We're finally there where we've been saying we would be a while ago. Basically, the cars are not going to go to full electric anytime soon, I don't think, because I don't think it's viable. But plug-in hybrids, yeah, that's more like it. And this is a plug-in hybrid, which means, of course, you have a gas engine in there. They have lots of them from before when they were doing downsizing. So this is a 1.6. They took the turbo away, or maybe it never had it. So it's a non-turbo 1.6 gas engine, and it's got an electric motor with a small battery, which you can also charge, hence the plug-in hybrid. And the really interesting thing here is it doesn't really have a clutch. It's sort of an automatic, but there's no clutch. So the only way this car can get off 0 kilometers per hour is via the electric motor, which is logical if you think about it, because the most gas used is usually from zero, acceleration from 0. So if you look under the hood of the car, it might not really look all that different from a regular car, because, well, you still have your engine, the ICE engine, but then you also have all your electronics, the battery somewhere hidden, all these high voltage cables going down there to the electric motor. So yeah, there's quite a lot of things going on there, because essentially you do have 2 engines in there.
This new look suits the car very much. I like how the front grille is more consistent with the rest of the lineup and looks more serious and nicer now. The Captur is still a small crossover, although it feels a good size for our standards. Compared to the previous generation, it's grown in all directions. I also enjoy the rear lights here.
You know, even though I'm not a huge fan of crossovers or SUVs or random roadworks, I did quite like the previous Captur. The Renault Captur, especially the fun selection of engines, especially the most powerful 1.3, which was a little thirsty, but a lot of fun. However, on the other side, I also really enjoy electric stuff because of the regeneration you get, or recuperation, and also because of the fact that, well, they're a lot more frugal. So, with that in mind, this is a plug-in hybrid, which means, of course, that a lot of the time, unless you're going long distance, you'll be driving on electric, on batteries only. And that's pretty good. So considering you're watching this video, you're most likely very much familiar with what a plug-in hybrid is. But just in case someone isn't, I'm going to go over it very, very quickly. Plug-in hybrid basically means that you've got 2 engines, like I said. You've got a petrol or a gas or a diesel engine, in this case it's a gas engine, and you've got an electric motor and a small battery pack. It's not just one battery like you have in a normal car, or a large battery pack like in an electric car. It's a smaller battery pack that allows you to do, I don't know, let's say 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometers with only the electric motor, depending on driving conditions. And the plug-in part, that's the hybrid part. The plug-in part basically means that you can also plug it in to charge that small battery pack. So just like an electric car, but of course, this is much smaller, the battery package is much smaller. So now that we got that out of the way, this is a plug-in hybrid. So it doesn't really have a lot of electric range, but it's pretty reasonable, I would say. I did almost 100 kilometers now when I had the battery fully charged. And for most of that time, I did freeway driving, or motorway driving, I did small towns, and I did a lot of hilly areas, going up pretty steeply and also going down a lot. and my average fuel consumption right now is 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers. So that's a fairly good result, considering that you've got a, it's a crossover and you've got a 1.6 liter gas engine up front that sometimes helps you accelerate or helps charge the batteries. The really interesting thing about this car for me is the fact that apparently it has no clutch for the engine. I suppose it sort of rev matches when it actually does engage the engine and just does it without a clutch. I'm not entirely sure, but I was told there is no clutch. So basically what that means, technically, if you run out of electrical charge, you will not be able to get off of the line. You won't be able to drive because well, the electric motor is the only one that actually drives from 0 to whatever, accelerates, and then the gas engine can do also its work if it needs to. But however, this car always makes sure, right now for example I'm at about 10%, 15% battery charge. Whenever it gets that low, it always makes sure to stop using the electric engine and actually charges the battery pack via the gas engine. Now, of course, that does mean that the fuel consumption goes up considerably. For example, just driving normally, right now I'm charging it, I'm using 9 liters per 100 kilometers. I've seen that jump up to like 15 and 16, not going very fast at all or accelerating hard. So yeah, these plug-in hybrids are excellent when you still have that charge left, and then they become quite thirsty. But like I said, I did those 100 kilometers and yeah, it's still 3.3 average fuel consumption. But the plug-in hybrids really do shine more in cities and such when you've charged the battery. I do have to say, I'm really enjoying driving this car because of the plug-in hybrid drive. Hybrids are really good for me, or excellent I think, because one, you get the best of both worlds. You get the electric acceleration, the torque, you get the frugalness of that, for example in cities with the stop and go traffic. And 3, you don't have anxiety range because you still get a gas engine in front. You just fill it up, that's it, and it'll also charge the electricity. And also 4, very important, I love energy recuperation. Going down a hill like this, the engine will usually shut off. Right now the battery is pretty low, so it's also using there we go, it shut off the engine. You practically don't use the mechanical brakes at all. In an electric car, you practically don't either. And here it's basically the same. Look at this. This is a very steep hill, and I've got a lot of regeneration. It's got a D and a B mode. The B mode is the one that gives you full regeneration or recuperation. And it's really excellent. Not only are you saving the brakes and really, having a lot of braking power, but also you're charging the batteries. It's just great. But there is one thing that I was really very surprised with this car, and that is how comfortable it is, and also sort of refined. Yeah, it has a few Renault things, there's a few squeaks and rattles here, despite this being a 14,000 kilometer car, so fairly new still. But okay, I'll forgive it that. The thing is, the seats. These seats are very, very, very comfortable. The suspension is quite soft, so this is perfect for, I don't know, anyone that likes a soft ride. Older people perhaps with back problems, whatever it is. And not only that, the comfort of the car is accentuated by the plug-in hybrid drive, because look, here in this tiny little village, I'm just driving on electrics. So it's all nice and quiet and quite refined. So this was really not so much a shock, but a surprise, a very pleasant surprise by just how nice this car is to drive. It's got a really nice digital instrument cluster there. It's got everything really. The only thing I would say was bad here, maybe, was, well, the instrument cluster, while the graphics are very nice and the actual screen is very nice as well, there's not really much customization you can do. I mean, what's the point? You can change a couple of things, and you can change a couple of the colors maybe, but that's it. You can't really fully change the instruments or customize them how you would want. But otherwise, I would be happy driving this car every day.
The base model can be yours for just under 17,000 euros, the plug-in hybrid for 31,000 euros. The top-of-the-line one with almost all extras will cost you 36,580 euros.